What's up, guys? This is the Vikings and Extras with John Kramer. I'm your host, John Kramer, and in today's podcast, this might actually take me today and tomorrow morning. I'm going to give you my preview on the Vikings game against the Cardinals. First of all, one thing on, offense, we need to settle down with the penalties. We had so many penalties, especially in the first half of the game against the Bengals. We need to keep those down. And also, as I said in my last video, I was wrong about KJ Osborne. He's actually a decent wide receiver. 7 receptions, 76 yards. Those are great. Those are great numbers, period. Let alone wide receiver 3 numbers. And also on defense, Bashad really needs to stop sucking. Or maybe we can resolve that by starting Mackenzie Alexander for once in Mike Zimmer's Vikings coaching career. Since he's never started Mackenzie Alexander, I really think he should. Like back in 2019, he was definitely our best cornerback. Since we had Xavier Rhodes, who was trash, Trey Waynes, who just wasn't good, and Mike Hughes, who you could breathe on and he'd be injured. Mackenzie Alexander was really the only decent corner we even had. Mike Zimmer really should try to start him. And another thing, as I heard from Wyatt's World, the Vikings are just not good against mobile quarterbacks, and obviously Kyler Murray is a mobile quarterback. He's a mobile quarterback, so we need to get some way to contain him. Then James Conner and Chase Edmonds, neither of them are great running backs. Obviously, we faced Joe Mixon, who's a good running back, and then Samaje Perine, who's a nobody, but we couldn't stop either of them. We need to find a way to settle the run game down, even against James Conner and Chase Edmonds. If we couldn't stop Samaje Perine, who knows if we can even stop James Conner or Chase Edmonds, both of which are probably better than Samaje Perine. We need to find a way to stop their run game, and then also, first of all, Patrick Peterson should do some duty covering DeAndre Hopkins. He actually covered DK Metcalf pretty good in their first game last season. He actually got an interception as Brian Baldinger said, he ran his route for him. It was a deep route. Hopefully he can settle down DeAndre Hopkins decently, because DeAndre Hopkins, best receiver in the NFL, tied with Devontae Adams. We'll need to find a way to keep him settled down. Also, AJ Green. Obviously, AJ Green's pretty washed up. He hasn't really played much in what seems like forever, but still he could be a threat. And also Christian Kirk, who's still a decent receiver. I don't see us slowing down their offense really in any way. First of all, but I would like to say that we can stop the run game, but based on how we played against the run last game, I don't know how we really will. And then, of course, with the pass game, since they have the best receiver in the NFL, a good receiver in Christian Kirk, and then AJ Green, who is still probably decent. He's still AJ Green. He's not like a top 5 receiver in the NFL like he used to be, but he'll still do stuff. The defense is definitely going to have a long day ahead of themselves. And then on the offense, if we couldn't stop Trey Hendrickson, and then whenever we did, the rest of the Bengals D-line would get to us, Chandler Jones is going to be an even worse fight. Chandler Jones has been the best pass rusher, run stopper, the best overall edge threat in the entire NFL for years. He's been up there with Khalil Mack. He's pretty much every single year he will most likely lead the league in sacks, and if not, he'll at least be second. He always is a huge threat, and we need to find a way to stop him. Of course, with the full, we'll probably be so scared that our offensive line is going to false start a lot, which to be honest, I don't know what's better, not getting penalties but not being able to block, or being able to block but having some penalties. They're both lose-lose situations either way, but So yeah, we try to stop Chandler Jones, one of the best edge rushers in the NFL, up there with now T.J. Watt, who's pretty much the best now. And then if we hold him down, we'll have to stop the rest of the Arizona's defense. I think they have Calais Campbell, unless he's with I think he's with the Ravens now. And they also have Budda Baker, one of the best safeties in the NFL. And so with Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, hopefully Justin Jefferson can step up his game from last game. He didn't do much last game. He got 10 fantasy points, which may seem like a decent amount, but that's for being a number one receiver, which he is supposed to be. That's nothing. Hopefully Adam Thielen can still have a good game. Last game he just went off. He had 32 or something fantasy points. He had a huge game. He doesn't even need to do that. He could have just a good game, 100 yards maybe. That might even be a lot, but hopefully we can get Justin Jefferson going in this game now. And then hopefully KJ Osborne can be there. Or we actually find a way to get D.D. Westbrook into the offense a little bit too. And when they're all covered, we know we have Tyler Conklin, who's reliable. Obviously, he hasn't proven himself much as a tight end yet, but I even noticed last season we could have a 3rd and 4. He was often the number one target. He converted several 3rd and shorts last year, and then last game he had 4 receptions for 41 yards, 27 yards of which came on his last reception. He can still be a decent receiver. One thing I have to add in before starting the video is, since these last videos I can't speak for any longer than 10 seconds, I would have to cut out the spots where I'm either not talking or not saying things correctly or just saying the wrong stuff. And it makes editing a lot harder. Plus, as a podcast is supposed to be long and straight. Long and goodness. It's supposed to be non-stop. Gosh, what is... dirty mind. And I notice I still stop speaking for longer than a second from time to time, even filming now. But anyway, back to the video. So first of all, with our offense, since last game we were able to go on that 17-3 run. Even we were down 21-7. It was looked like we were losing a lot of hope. Then we go on the 17-3 run to tie it up. First of all, it's the Bengals. We should have been able to do that in the first place, but considering we weren't early on, it still means something. It might not mean a lot, but it means something that we were able to catch up. Our offense needs to keep going against the Cardinals. Chandler Jones is better than Trey Hendrickson, so we'll have to game plans specifically for him. And then the rest of the D-line, because you triple team him, and then we have someone else coming in like we did against the Bengals. I surprised Trey Hendrickson was a problem the whole game. And obviously, even when he wasn't, that was because we tried to go more to him and someone else. We come right in and get the tackles. We couldn't. Our run game was horrible. Last game, 20 rushes, 61 yards. That's for Dalvin Cook. That's 3 yards per carry, which is awful. We need a run game to get going. The Vikings are a run-first team. Last year, I saw they showed the percentage of touches that the three main guys on offense, Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, and Justin Jefferson got. This was pretty early in the season, but Cook was 47%, Thielen was 33%, and Jefferson was 20%. I really wanted to say Jay Jettas. Don't know why I didn't. What? Yeah, the run game needs to... Okay, good. The run game needs to get going in this game for us to have a decent chance at winning. Already, I don't know if we even can win, because the Cardinals, they're not a great team, but first of all, their offense is going to be hard for us to stop because our defense is clearly still unproven, even though we got a lot of the key guys back, like Kendricks, Pierce, Griffin, and Daniil Hunter. I think those guys are all good defenders. We got them back, but yeah, that didn't seem to do much in the last game. Well, DJ One did get 2 sacks, and I think we got like 5 sacks in the last game. So, but it didn't seem like we were getting much sacks because if we weren't sacking them, the Bengals would get a huge play to T. Higgins or Jamar Chase, because it was literally all Bashaud Breeland's fault. It was, I don't know how much fault Patrick Peterson did last game. But I trust him. I don't trust Bashaud Breeland anymore. Then defensively, once again, I other than Budda Baker and Chandler Jones, I don't know who the Cardinals have, but I know for a fact there is still someone who's going to be a problem for us in this game, which, first of all, our offense should have been fine against the Bengals. They really have no one. I guess they do have Trey Hendricks and Jesse Bates, who are like Chandler Jones and Budda Baker. I'd say Jesse Bates is probably a little bit better than Budda Baker. Chandler Jones is a bit better than Trey Hendrickson. But still, they now that I realize that they have the same kind of like 1-2 punch, the edge rusher and the safety, and for our offense still couldn't do much against them. Well, I guess that's not even right to say, because Thielen went off. KJ Osborne went off. Yeah, so anyways, that'll be it for this episode. Maybe I won't have to film tomorrow morning, but make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn on the notification bell. See you next week for the recap of this game. See ya.